Hi guys, it is February. That means it is the main event. It is time to get our seeds going for this year's garden. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 23 seeds I'm starting indoors. Some of them are flowers, a few are veggies, and then an additional 12 seeds I'm going to be adding to my winter sowing project. It's exciting, and it is go time, baby. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim, and let me show you what I'm planting this month. For a little bit of background, I am in an area that has a last frost, usually around mid to late April. So that is what I am using as my factor to count backwards according to the seed packets of when things should be started indoors. Now it's important when you look at the back of a seed packet, should it be started inside? When should it be started? Should it be started outside? Does it need light? How deep should it be planted? And how much space does it need? And once you plant it out, how big is it going to get? So the back of the seed packet has a lot of information that you really want to make sure that you look at before you start and before you make your selections, because it will make a difference on how you plant things. So what I'm planting in this, or what I'm going to be showing you today and planting this month, are my crops that are 8 to 10 weeks before my last frost, which I'm targeting around April 26th. So those I'll be planting around February 15th. What I'm going to be planting today, not in this video, but what I'm going to be planting this weekend, are the crops that need to be started 10 to 12 weeks before the average last frost date. Starting at about 12 weeks, that will give me a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to the forecast come mid to late April. I might be able to get some of the stuff out earlier, some of it might have to wait a little bit. But it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to work with the weather that's going on at that point. So let me show you what we're planting for February. So the first one we're going to be doing is this jewel amethyst eggplant. Botanical interest. It is 80 days, 80 day to maturity once you transplant it. It is a smaller one, so it is a really good one for container gardening. It is a tidy habit, makes it a breeze for harvesting. Glossy oval purple leaves, or glossy oval purple fruit, are best harvested when 3 to 4.5 inches long. Harvest regularly for prolific harvest, continued harvest. And it has a firm texture and mild flavor. It makes it ideal for roasting, frying, and glazing with your favorite sauces. We do want to start this 10 to 12 weeks before the average last frost date. We do not want to plant this out until the soil temperature is at least 60 degrees, but you can get a soil thermometer from Amazon. I'll link one below. They're not super expensive, but it'll allow you to keep an eye on how warm your soil is before you put your nightshades out, because they're the ones that are probably the most sensitive. But your nightshades are going to be your eggplant, your tomatoes, and your peppers. We do want to do 1/4 of an inch deep, so it does need to be buried into the soil starting mix, and a 10 to 20 day germination. So we're going to go ahead and get this one started this weekend. So the next one is a spicy globe basil. The seeds are from M.I. Gardener. This is a small plant as well, so also very good for container gardening. We do want to start it early. It takes longer. Generally, basil is more in line with how you grow tomatoes, so like 6 to 8 weeks. But this is a little bit longer. It is spicier, so it has more flavor. Use in place of sweet basil to give an added kick to your recipe. The variety grows in a globe shape and produces small leaves. So it is a 70-day maturity. So we're going to go ahead and get this one planted up. And all of these, so I think just about everything here is going to require full sun. So once you put this out into the garden, you need to have a space where they are just 6 to 8, 12 hours of sun per day. They're all the sun-loving plants. So the next one is a tamarillo or tamarillo. Not exactly sure. It sounds really interesting. It says a sweet, fruity, tropical flavor with overtones of pineapple, superb for juicing, pies, preserves, or marmalade, or good for fresh eating. So it is sweet, but it could also has a tartness to it. So like part of it's tart, part of it's sweet. So an interesting combination. I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a tomatillo. They call it a tree tomato. So we're going to give this a shot. I'm also going to see if I can pull this one in over the winter into the grow room, because it will turn into a tree, and I think that's when it will produce its best fruit. So it may take a year or two for this one to come into its own, but we're going to pull this one in because it is not frost tolerant or not hardy to the zone. We're in 7A-ish, but this is a dwarf. It needs 8 to 12 hours of sun per day, 14 to 20 day germination, planted 1/8 of an inch deep. So I'm interested to give this. This is one of my unique seeds from that video that I'm trying. I've never had this before. Don't know what it is. But I had tomatillo last year for the first time, and I'm really excited about that. Also growing ground cherries this year, so we'll see how that goes. So the next three are a group of bunching onions. We have Nabucco Evergreen, Guardsman, and Tokyo Long White. And they have varying degrees of maturity. We have 50, 70, and 110 day. But it says 8 to 10 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and get these started. I actually have some growing in my grow room. But we're going to go ahead and get these. They are frost tolerant, cold tolerant. We want to plant them 1/4 of an inch deep. And they do need full sun once they go outside. The next one is a baby blue eucalyptus from Johnny's. It is 120 to 150 day germination, so we definitely want to go ahead and get this one going. It is a perennial in zones 9 to 11, so for most of us it won't be a perennial. It's used for dried flower foliage, so for flower arrangements it's used in that. It does not like its roots disturbed, so we're going to be very careful when we transplant that, not to make them too grumpy. And it sounds like a heat mat. It will germinate in 7 to 10 days at 75 to 80 degrees, or 14 to 21 days at 65 to 75 degrees. So this one would benefit from heat mat underneath it. It would help it germinate faster. So the next two are seeds to start Agastaki or Agastache, depending on where you're at. We have two swallowtail seeds, or swallowtail garden seeds. We have Fragrant Delight and Stello Indigo. And Stello Indigo is a showy, long-lasting, mint-scented, deep blue flower. It blooms from July to October and excellent for cutting. Foliage is disease-resistant with a fragrance like root beer. I got Agastaki last year from Lowe's. Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. And each different kind smells a little different, but they are just so beautiful. You sit there and go, oh yeah, it smells good. It is a perennial, winter hearted is zone 6, so good to -10, and 14 to 21 day germination, and it does need light to germinate. The other variety is a Fragrant Delight, tubular lilac, raspberry, and orange flowers. That's just a gorgeous combination. They bloom in summer and fall on a bushy 2-foot tall plant with fragrant lacy green leaves. Blooms the first year when started early. Perennial. This one's only good to a zone 7, so it's good to a 0 degree area. It also needs light to germinate, and it is a 14 to 30 day germination. So these are a little bit longer. So we're going to go ahead and get these up. And that's one thing that you'll see. Anything that takes a longer time to germinate, you probably want to get started sooner. The next one, we're going to do a variety of different petunias. This was also part of my unique seeds. It's Karkulka petunia out of the Czech Republic. It is bubblegum pink and white petunia with frayed and ruffled leaves. Plants reach just over 1 foot, 2 to 2.5 inch blooms. They need to surface sow, so this will need light to germinate. And if you pinch these off, when they first begin to grow, they get a few leaves, a few true leaves. You pinch them, they will start branching and create more flowers. So the next one we're going to be doing is this Shockwave Purple Tie-Dye Petunia from Botanical Interest. Actually beautiful. 7 to 10 inches tall. The colors, it says, will change throughout the season depending on the temperature. The blooms are 1.5 to 2 inches wide. And it's really great for a pot or a hanging basket container. 15 to 30 day germination. It does need light to germinate. The next one is also from Botanical Interest. It is Petite Charmer Blend. This compact blend in shades of red, rose, scarlet, salmon, violet, and white is charming in window boxes, borders, and containers, creating a lush patio garden. And then the final one is going to be a more traditional petunia from Burpee. 60 to 70 days to bloom. It's full sun, 15-inch height. Again, light to germinate, container friendly, and it's got the reds, the pinks, the purples, and the whites. Just gorgeous. So I'm going to be using these in different areas of the garden, some in the green stalks, some in planters, and some maybe in the flower beds. We'll have to see. We're going to go everywhere because I'm going to have a lot of flowers to plant up. So the next group is going to be the ones that we're going to start around the 15th of February. That's our 8 to 10 week before last frost germination. So the first one is going to be this dianthus. Is a rainbow loveliness dianthus. It's 1 to 1.5 feet tall. It's a short-lived perennial that will bloom the first year. Perennial to zone 7, so 7 to 10. Sow indoors in early spring. You can sow outside from spring to fall for a bloom the following year if you're not too cold. It is a 7 to 14 day germination, and we need to plant this 1/8 of an inch deep. So the next one is a lamb's ear stachys from Urban Farmer. These are seeds from last year that I grew, and these are beautiful, beautiful plants. They are perennial. Let's see, they're 12 to 18 inches tall, soft white woolly leaves that thrive in full sun and can grow up to 1 foot long. This variety produces pink purple flower spikes that attract bees from early summer to early fall. It has a 115 day maturity. It's supposed to be deer resistant because of the fuzzy texture. Deers don't like that as much. And we do need to plant it 1/8 of an inch deep. Planted it last year from this packet. Absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to them coming back this year. They definitely should. So the next one is a very short flower. It's a portulaca, also called moss rose. This is a magic carpet mixed color blend. 6 inches tall, 80 days to bloom. Plant 1/8 inch deep. And space 6 inches once you put them out in the yard. They are container friendly. They are absolutely one of the most beautiful flowers. They're very, very small. I grew these in my green stock last year and absolutely loved them. And the flowers just kind of surprise you. They're just beautiful. So the next one is a Panorama Red Bee Balm. I have several other bee balms. They're pink, I think, and other colors, but I don't think I have a red one yet. This is perennial to zone 3 to 9. Scarlet blooms will beckon pollinators and other beneficial bugs from the garden. Plants reach 30 inches tall and form clumps that will return year after year. Pollinator magnet, it blooms in its second year, so we'll see how this is. If you've never grown bee balm, you should give it a try. The scent that they give off is absolutely intoxicating. It's just absolutely gorgeous, so it is well worth it. And it is an absolutely beautiful plant. Let's see. It has a 14 to 21 day germination, and it does need light to germinate. The next one we have is Gaillardia Double Sunset Mix. And I just absolutely love the Gaillardia, all of the blanket flower, the daisy type flowers. Absolutely love them, especially the oranges and the yellows and the reds and all of them all. So it does soft so readily. We need to plant it 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. It requires full sun. It will do well in dry or even poor soil, and it will tolerate heat and drought. We're going to plant it 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep, and it has a 14 to 21 day germination. Absolutely gorgeous. So the next one is a dahlia, and you can grow, in my area, I would need to dig out my dahlia tubers, which I have done last year. I did not store them properly. I will see what is still viable come April or March when it's time to plant them out. But I find that it is so easy to plant dahlia seeds. With dahlia seeds, you never know for sure what you're going to get because they cross-pollinate with each other. But they are absolutely gorgeous no matter what they are. If you're looking for certain varieties, you're going to need to buy the actual tuber because that is what's going to be true to type. With seeds, you're going to get a mix of whatever was pollinated. But this is a cactus flower blend. I grew some of these last year and they're absolutely gorgeous. It is a 5 to 20 day maturity, 1/4 inch deep, 8 to 12 weeks before your average last frost. The flowers are on sturdy stems, and the flowers are 6 inches across. It makes a truly exceptional cut flower. And it is a perennial. This one is a perennial in zone 7 to 10. So I would be interested in leaving this one in ground this year and see what it does. Tubers and flower petals are edible. If you're interested in eating a dahlia, you go ahead and give it a try. I'm not, but you go ahead and give it a try. Another one that I've planted for the last couple of years is Gazania. It is a much shorter flower. It is only 9 inches tall, 60 to 70 day bloom. And this one's really cool because the flowers close up overnight. And then when the sun comes out, they open back up. And it is just, you think, oh, it's done. Nope. And then you look back a couple hours later and the flowers are all open. It is a beautiful, beautiful plant, and it is prolific in the number of flowers that it generates. Just deadhead it, and it'll just keep producing like gangbusters. It is a 7 to 10 day germination. It is container friendly. I grew it in my green stock last year. We're going to plant it in 1/4 inch deep, but I highly recommend Gazania, one of my favorites. The next one we're planting is Snapdragon Mango Twist. It is part of the unique seed video that I did. So I have some of this that I have planted out for the winter sowing experiment. But we're going to go ahead and start some inside to hedge our beds. There's 120 days to maturity, delightful tall flower spikes in mango, gold, and maroon. Emit a sweet fragrance. This incomparable edible ornamental is ideal for beds, borders, containers, and the cutting garden. So 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost, requires light to germinate. These are very, very small seeds. Pinching young plants back will encourage more blooms and a bushier, compact growth habit. So really, really excited about getting some more of these going. I do have some more I'm going to be showing you here that are winter sown, but I've got a ton out there already. So the next one is a lobelia trailing type cascade of color. It has a variety of different colors, 15 to 20 day germination. It does need light to germinate, but it cascades over, so it's really good for patio containers and hanging baskets. And what I found with this last year, it did really well in the spring, and then it seemed to die back, so I thought it was done, but it resurged in the fall when the temperatures cooled off. So this was a beautiful plant in the green stock last year. Another trailing lobelia from Seeds and Such is this Regatta Formula Mix. It is a trailing lobelia as well. Partial sun to full sun, blooms in early spring, hardy to 32 degrees, so it's not super hardy. And it's 6 to 8 inches tall, so very similar probably to the other one. But we're going to go ahead and get this one planted up too. The last one for the indoor seeds is going to be actually a carex grass. So this is a common grass in wetlands and moist habitats and temperate to cold climates. It's perennial, 18 to 24 inches tall. We're going to try it. Not sure if it'll work here, but we're going to give it a shot. Because having the grassy texture throughout the flower beds is really, really nice appearance. What you want to do is have a variety of different colors in a variety of different textures, heights, shapes, to the growth habits. So this will give us some good variety for the flower beds. So for the last of my winter sowing, I'm going to be doing a few items. Hopefully will work. I'm going to do the Columbine Pink Petticoat. One of these germinated indoors. I have a few seeds left, so I'm going to plant those for outside, because Columbine is one where cold stratification, having outdoor cold and wet temperature, helps it to germinate better. So we're going to go ahead and plant the rest of these outside. So I'm also going to be doing 2 other Columbine for Baker Creek. One is a double mixed Columbine and one is a Barlow Purple. There might possibly be a crossover with these, I'm not sure, but they are both a double Columbine. And this one looks a whole lot like the Pink Petticoat, so I'm hopeful that this one will germinate much better. So we're going to go ahead and get this one out. It does need 3 to 4 weeks of chill time. Loose, well-drained soil is best. Part shade is ideal, but it can grow in full sun in early spring or in mild climates, or even shade in warm climates. It is a perennial down to zone 4 up to zone 8. 21 to 36 day germination. They say that they should be planted 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep. I'm going to compare these to the other ones, because I was thinking Columbine was surface sown, but I may be incorrect. I may be mixing that up with the Snapdragons. We're very excited to get these going outside. Another one, a lot of what these are, they're perennial flowers. So what I'm trying to do is to get some of my perennial flowers started outside as well as inside. So this one was also part of my unique seeds. It is a basket flower, which is just so unique. The plant will be 1.5 to 6 feet tall, depending on where it's grown. 110 day maturity. It has this really interesting basket here on the bottom end of the flower. It's a native wildflower that beckons droves of pollinators to your landscape. Extremely welcoming to a bevy of beneficial beings, from insects to hummingbirds. You can sow in place in fall or winter, in mild climates or in early spring where winters are more severe. This is one that will reseed itself. And it's 7 to 14 day germination, 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep. planting. The next two are coreopsis that I have not grown before. Absolutely gorgeous colors. So these are about both 2 feet tall, and they like to be surface sown. 10 to 21 day sprouting, and they are frost hardy. So I believe these will, yeah, they will both self-sow readily. So excited to get those going. The next one, I planted Love in a Mist, which I have my own seeds from last year. But I planted Love in a Mist Nigella last year, and I actually left the plant out there and it dried in the container where it was at, and it self-seeded on the ground. And even though we've had 14 inches of snow, a half inch of ice, and weeks of 0 to 10 degree nights, it is still green and growing. So I'm super excited. It is 12 to 24 inches tall. It has blue, purpley blue, and white flowers. This is the Miss Jocko blend. We do want to surface sow it. 10 to 15 day germination. This is one that you could probably just plant on your flower beds because it's not recommended to start it outside. So we will only, the roots are sensitive, so we may just plant this out in a flower bed or in a pot. Like what I did last year is I planted it in the pot. I left it in all year. And that is what I'll probably do this year. So I'll get a grow bag and plant this up. Also, I'm going to be doing a mulberry rose version of that. So for both of these, I'm going to plant these in a grow bag and just leave them out there, and they will just do their thing. And I will not transplant them. This is 1.5 feet tall, and attracts oodles of pollinators, which we really want that. So lots of seeds to put out. The next one is a primrose pink beauty. It has a 100 to 120 day maturity. A delightful variety. This delightful variety produces a mass of candy floss pink flowers on a tiny plant. They are hardy, short-lived perennials that will thrive in the garden. In zones 3 to 8. They also look spectacular in small pots. It's perennial or biennial. Cold stratify 2 to 4 weeks, and then sow indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost. Transplant out after the last frost, and it does self-sow. It does self-sow readily. So I'm going to get this planted out as well. I have calendula. So I've got some seed packets I got from Menards for 10 cents. And then also some calendula from Botanical Interest. They are really great. They're dairy resistant. They're also great. I'm going to try to make some sap with them this year. Cold climates, 2 to 4 weeks before your average last frost. I'm going to go ahead and in mild climates, early spring for summer blooms, late summer for winter blooms, 5 to 15 day germination, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch deep. I'm going to go ahead and get these planted out and may actually put them into garden beds to some degree. But we're going to go ahead and get these out planted. Similar to the primrose and nigella, we're going to get these planted into the ground or whatever container that they're going to stay in. I also have 4 varieties of sweet peas that I'll be growing. I have put out a garden gazebo, which will also be in my Temu haul. I love it. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. What I want to do is have sweet peas growing up the trellis legs of it, as tall as they will go, and then in the center of it, I'm going to have a variety of zinnias and wildflowers. It's going to be gorgeous. I can't wait. But I've never grown sweet peas before, so I'm interested in how these will go. I'm going to go ahead and do some tall potato bags so that they have plenty of root space, so I don't have to move them, and then let them just grow up each of the legs. One thing with sweet peas, you do not want to have them near any kind of regular pea, sugar snap pea, or shelling pea, because sweet peas are toxic, so you do not want them to cross or get mixed up when you're picking with any regular edible pea. So that is all the things. I will have a pepper video here next week, so check out that. Tons of peppers we're going to be growing. But anyway, if you want to know some of the other stuff I'm going, check out this video. And until the next time, I hope you have a very wonderful day. Happy gardening, and bye.